In communication with Southern California, KHJ-TV Public Affairs presents Teen Talk. Studies show that there are over 3,000 hotlines established throughout the United States. Most hotline callers are not in immediate danger, but are voicing a serious cry for help. Some hotline volunteers have had personal experience associated with their hotline problem area.
The phones never seem to stop ringing. Unhappy, confused, and disturbed people can now call hotline volunteers to discuss such things as suicide, alcohol, cocaine, runaways, and many other problems. I'm Joseph Feinstein, and today on Teen Talk, we've invited a number of teens who volunteer their time at the different hotline centers. They extend their understanding and patience to other very anxious teenagers. They provide an anonymous setting for problem solving that has never been offered before. Welcome, panel. Welcome to Teen Talk. Would you please introduce yourselves and tell us which hotline center you're located with? Allison?
My name is Allison Selwood, and I work on the AIDS hotline.
My name is Joanna Pundyke, and I work at Stepping Stone Youth Crisis Shelter.
And I'm Rebecca Hurst, and I work for Homework Hotline.
And my name is Laura Williams, and I work for Cancer Hotline.
Okay.
I'm Cindy, and I work at Suicide Prevention Hotline.
I'm John, and I work at Teen Line Cares.
I'm Lauren, and I work on Teen Line Cares Helpline.
I'm Ingrid, and I work on Stepping Stone.
Very good. Welcome, panel. I'm glad to see you all, and I'm glad that you're all here. And I'm especially happy about the kinds of things that you're doing. I'm wondering, how did you get interested and involved in getting started on the hotline that you went to? Ingrid?
Well, I had always found that my friends would come to me when they had problems, and that I was usually able to deal with it with them. And my psychology teacher told me at school that Stepping Stone Youth Crisis Shelter was looking for volunteers, and she gave me the number, and I called up, and I was accepted.
Really? Very nice. Do you like your work?
I certainly do.
You do?
Yeah.
John, how did you get over to your Teen Line Cares?
Well, I talk to a lot of my friends at school sometimes with their problems, and I wanted to get into something, sort of a community service work. And one day while I was watching TV, I saw an advertisement for Teen Line Cares. And I called up, and I went through an interview and an audition, and then I started an 8-week training session, and I started working.
Wow. Wow. What'd you learn there?
I learned how to do what we call active listening, which when a person calls in, we listen to their problems and give them that sort of friend, that they need. I also learned a lot about myself, so I could also help other people with their problems.
Okay. Cindy, what about you? Why did you choose the suicide prevention to work with?
I wanted to do some sort of volunteer work, and I tried other places, but I liked the idea of working in a suicide prevention center.
You do? What does it do for you?
It makes me feel good about myself, and I like helping other people, and it works in my whole life.
Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross says that the two things that are most important in this life are giving and receiving love, and also giving of service, making your life count by that kind of way. I guess you're doing some of that, huh?
I guess so.
I guess so. Okay. And Joanna, what caused you to decide to go over to Stepping Stone?
Like many of the other reasons, I was really interested in helping people and really putting myself out to the kids. And with Stepping Stone, we're a runaway program, and there's so many runaways, especially in Santa Monica, where our shelter is, that I really felt that being a volunteer would help.
What do you do for these young people?
I'm a volunteer peer counselor, and when the kids come into our shelter, they really want to be able to have somebody there their own age that they can really talk to and confide in, because they're a little bit distant from adults. So I help them to feel comfortable in speaking to us and trusting us.
See, one of the things that I know and that I've learned especially is that kids do love and respect other kids. And when you have the kind of input and the kind of opportunity to share your information with these other young people, they really do listen. You're working with AIDS Hotline.
Yeah.
When did that start? How did that start?
The AIDS hotline itself?
Mm-hmm.
It started a while ago, and it's grown. And I got interested in it because I saw an advertisement in the paper that said that they really did need volunteers, which they still do. And I realized I didn't know anything about the disease. And so I decided this would be a good way to learn.
Very good. Why would people call a hotline instead of seeking some professional help or calling up a friend, let's say? Why would they bother with, you know, you're dealing with homework problems. Why don't they call up their friend or go to the tutorial person at school or get a tutor? Why would they call you?
Well, a tutor usually costs money, and Homework Hotline is free of charge. It's a toll-free number. We help with any type of problem, usually mostly English and math, but if we're able to answer a question in any other subject, we will answer that question. And a lot of people are embarrassed to ask people that they know or friends of theirs because they don't want them to know that they don't know the answer to the homework problem. So they call Homework Hotline, and it's just talking to someone they don't know who'll be able to help them.
I see. And what about you? Why would they call Teen Line Cares?
A lot of people have problems or things that they want to talk about, and they really don't know where to go. As you said before, teenagers are a lot more comfortable talking to other teenagers. When they have a problem, they usually don't go to a teacher or a clergy person or someone like that. They go to a friend, and a lot of friends don't know how to help. And a lot of times they're too embarrassed to go to a friend. So by calling up Teen Line, they could talk to someone who's anonymous, who can give them an unbiased point of view, and someone to talk to them about their problems and what's bothering them and their concerns.
My research seems to indicate that some people who volunteer for a specific hotline job have had personal experiences related to the same area of work. Panel, have any of you had experience in your hotline work that relates to things that you know about? Laura?
Well, working on the cancer hotline, my grandfather had colon cancer when I was in high school. And I really became interested in cancer in general, and I did a little bit of research myself in the little library they had there and really learned that I was really interested in. And then when I started college, I decided to go into medicine. And you need some type of experience, in other words, to apply for med school. So I thought that this would be a good way to get it, and it was related to my experiences. So I thought this would be a good way to go about it.
Yeah, you tied in things that have happened in your life, and they've been instrumental.
And it was really very instrumental.
Incredible. You've had homework, obviously.
Right. So I can relate to anyone who calls me and can't do their math. It's a situation.
That's your subject? Math is your subject?
Math, right.
God bless you, lady.
It's hard for a lot of students to go home and not know how to do their math homework, and to ask their parents, and their parents will say, I don't remember that, or I don't know how to do that.
They never
Wait
knew.
till you get to school. Right, wait till you get to school tomorrow, and they're too embarrassed to ask the teacher or tell her, oh, I don't know how to do that. The teacher will go on and you still don't understand. So I can really relate with Homework Hotline because it wasn't there when I was in junior high school, so I'd really like to put my math ability to use.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm thinking about the fact that I too am a psychotherapist, and I share a little bit of the kinds of things that you people have gone through. And I know that there have been times when I've gotten certain emergency calls in the middle of the night from my patients or from other people who are calling me with very frightening stories about where they're feeling and where they're at a particular moment. Have you guys had problems or frightening experiences that you could tell us about? Cindy, with suicide prevention, you must have had some things that have been a little bit scary or whatever.
It does get pretty scary, and I'll get really nervous, but I always have a consultant there to help me. So you're never by yourself. We don't really like to share what happens on the lines because we keep it anonymous between all of us. It's an anonymous phone call.
And when you're in a bind, when you don't know what to do, what do you do?
Ring my buzzer and get my consultant in there.
Get in here immediately. Really?
So they can always help.
Have you had an experience, Allison?
Not with serious calls, just calls from people who are upset because they found out that a relative has AIDS or they've just been diagnosed with AIDS.
What do you say to them?
Basically, you listen because they want to talk. And you listen and don't give advice, but just give them some options.
Options, choices, that's a very key word. Is that one of the things that you've all learned how to do? Yes? You too, Ingrid?
Yeah, I've learned how to brainstorm with someone. Sometimes they may be calling just because they want somebody to talk things out with them. And brainstorming usually works out. I've had a couple of calls where that's helped.
The kids come in with some fairly heavy-duty kinds of numbers, don't they? And what's the generalized kind of thing that they will be there for?
There really is not really a generalized thing you could say, because kids come in with such varied problems. Ranges from child abuse to neglect, just to just running away, and it's so difficult to just generalize it. But usually, I can't say usually because that doesn't always happen, but brainstorming can work it out.
Brainstorming, what's that?
Brainstorming with them. I'll say something, and then maybe that'll touch something off with them that they never thought of before, or they'll say something, and then I'll think, well, hey, they didn't think of that, and then bring that up to them.
Okay.
And
yeah.
also, I mean, on the hotline, we have access to a lot of different services and people and other hotlines. And brainstorming really helps in that way, in that, say, for example, a person didn't know about a particular option. Say they didn't know that they could take chemotherapy for their type of cancer. Then we suggest, oh, well, why don't you get a second opinion? And that really comes into play, because not everyone knows that, everyone's eligible to get a second opinion. And by talking with us, we give out information which helps them make the decisions, a better decision in their way.
That is so valuable to know. This is a key word that I have learned, especially when I deal with my clients, is the word choices. You have lots and lots of choices. It's only when you seem to think that you have no choices, that's when the suicides take place, because all they can see is that brick wall of doom in front of them, and they don't know that tomorrow could be another beautiful day with all kinds of possibilities. John, you look like you want to say something. You always look like you want to say something. Go ahead.
Well, on the line, we have what we call referrals, where we refer people to other different situations or lines after we've helped them the best they can. Because sometimes they want really, more specific things, like if they have, if they do have AIDS or suspect they have AIDS, we refer them to the AIDS hotline, or sometimes suicide prevention.
How nice! You guys send out people to all
Yes,
over.
right.
Very nice. That's beautiful. And do you think that they call? Will they call?
Generally, they do. Sometimes we even get calls back, and then they will tell us that they called suicide prevention or AIDS hotline.
That's wonderful.
And then, they feel really good.
That's wonderful. Do any callers use the hotline as a joke place, as a
Yes.
place to
Yes.
kind of tell us about it, Laura?
Well, sometimes callers abuse the line. A lot of them don't know if it's serious or not, and a lot of them might be insecure, and some of them might really be bored and just have nothing else to do. And we've been trained so that we usually know when they're joking around and when they're kidding and when they're not serious. And we
What
can
will
tell
be the
them.
clue? What will clue you in?
Well, giggling often is a direct indication, and sometimes it's just obvious stories that really don't mesh, things that are just so far-fledged. If everything seems like their whole world's crumbling on them, and it really does not seem realistic or logical, then we'll do something about it. But we always make sure that it's not real before we say anything, because we would never want to take.
Do they do that with AIDS? I imagine AIDS is there's something scary about it, and something that you can deny and you can make a joke about it. How do they do that, Allison?
Usually they like the machines. If they get a live caller or a live listener, they hang up. But if they get machines, we get messages like fags die and homosexuals brought AIDS to the world, they should all be killed. Just with the disgrace associated with the disease and with homosexuality.
One critic of hotlines seems to feel that hotlines are promoting fast relief for rather difficult, long-arrived-at problems, that there are no simple solutions to any problem. Panel, what do you say to that? Joanna?
I don't feel that's very true in the calls that we handle, because for the most part the kids who are calling or the parents who are calling for that matter are in crisis at that moment. They want help for that moment. They want somebody to talk to, or they want information, or they just want somebody there to discuss things with. So we can help them at that moment and then give them advice, or even just give them resources, not advice but resources about what to do later.
Yeah, just a little bit of this is a Band-Aid kind of a thing,
Yeah.
just to kind of calm you down. Right, Cindy?
A lot of people call and they want help right then. They're anxious at that moment. And then we'll talk through it and kind of get calmed down, and then we can move into long-term.
Have you had someone that you've taken from a point of anxiety, high anxiety, and brought them down into a calm?
Yeah. It feels good too.
It does feel good. Your face reflects how good it does feel. Truly, it must be a sense of real completion. What did you learn? How did you learn how to do this?
The training is 6 weeks long, and it's 60 hours. They teach you everything from alcoholism to veterans, all sorts of things. And the training is great, and it helps in every way.
Who helps you guys when you are having your problems? Who do you go to when the time comes that you're not doing so well in school, and you're not doing so well as a result of Grandpa, having his attacks and so forth? What do you do? Where do you go, Rebecca?
Well, I would have to go to a teacher, because there's very few people that could help me with the level that I'm at right now as far as math is concerned. But one critical thing that I wanted to point out about people who criticize hotlines, especially homework hotline, is that they feel that we're just giving an answer and that it's not any help to any of the students. But it's not true, because we guide them in how to do problems, not just give an answer. So if I can't do something, then I'll go to the teacher, and then maybe they can help the student, or even help me.
When you're really blue, Ingrid, what do you do? Where do you go? You've been giving help to a lot of people, you said.
I have 2 best friends that I would go to for anything, and I can tell them anything. And if I don't feel that they're available, what I've been doing lately is going to Stepping Stone.
Really?
Is actually utilizing the program that I work in, because the workers there, the people that work there, help each other out in times of their own crises. Because contrary to popular belief, we're not all perfect either, as far as our lives are concerned.
Thank you for telling us that. I feel that we really needed to know that. That's important.
No, I think that's a misconception about people that work at
you,
shelters.
and you're right. You're right. Very often, the therapist, look to yourself, doctor, and find out what's going on within yourself. It's very important that, for instance, that I have a number of friends that I turn to for the kind of help that I need with different problems that are coming up with my family, or things that are going on in school where I'm teaching, or whatever. Where do you go?
I have some really close friends that I can take any of my problems to, and they're really open and they really listen. And I also have a very good relationship with my parents. And I can really talk to them about my problems, things that are bothering me. I can really tell them almost anything.
A lot of kids have a really hard time opening up to their parents.
Yeah.
Why do you have it so easy, do you think?
Well, I think a lot of other teenagers have a problem talking to their parents because there's a real lack of communication, and a lot of times teenagers don't feel that their parents understand what they're going through, or that their parents will even listen. And my parents have always encouraged me to talk to them, and have always said that they're very open to whatever I have to say, and that we'll discuss the issues that I have and the problems that I have with how they're handling our relationship.
I'm just wondering now, you come to the hotline or Stepping Stone, and you're in a pretty bad place yourself. How do you overcome your dilemma and problem and help the other people that are there?
That's very important, because a lot of times I'll be, really upset about something happened at school, or just my own life is kind of, I'm having problems. And when I get on that hotline, it seems like I just say to myself, these people, my problems are small compared to the people, and they have cancer in their family. And I'm really lucky that everything has gone pretty well with my family, and therefore I'm able to help these people, and it gives you a good feeling, and it says, look, I can go on helping people because I'm getting this great feeling, and it makes your problem seem really small.
What a neat thing. You're really able to shove yourself aside.
I
Push
just
it by.
forget all your problems.
You too, Joanna?
No, I mean, yeah, I do that too. But if that doesn't work, then I always have somebody around me for support. Like there's always another staff member, or there's always other staff there to help you. And you know, there will always be people around to be your support system. We all work together like a family.
Do you see any hotlines that are still needed that are not around yet? Are there any hotlines that you guys can think of that would really be helpful for anyone?
I feel there's more hotlines needed for people on the street, for people to call for resources and what to do. I think there's a lot more things needed to help people who are out there, mainly teenagers on the street and homeless. So I think that's really a lot. I think we need more people reaching out to them.
There are many different national hotline numbers available to you. I've prepared a list of all the contact numbers, so if any of you are interested, please write to me, Joseph Feinstein, care of Teen Talk, KHJ-TV, 5515 Melrose Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90038. You want to please send me a stamped, self-addressed envelope, and I'll be happy to mail you a copy. Panel, you have been absolutely terrific in helping us understand about hotlines. You've given us some clues on brainstorming and understand all the concepts of choices and alternatives that are available to everybody, everywhere. For Teen Talk, this is Joseph Feinstein saying we'll see you very soon.